Hi everyone! Today we continue our study of Fauré's Fantasie for Flute, moving on to the fast section. I'm going to recommend that you start exactly where I tell my own students to start, and that is at the Leggero section. Measure 192 to 207. It's almost like its own little etude, and you can gradually master this section very under tempo. I recommend no faster than 50 beats a minute, which is pretty slow for the quarter note. I would also recommend that you do 2 measures at a time. You can loop them. So doing 2 measures and then repeating those same 2 measures over and over until the patterns are ingrained, not only in your fingers, but also in your ear. Another tip that I would have for this section would be you could do some rhythms, keeping the articulations as they're printed in the part, but you could do maybe, in this case, I'll do a long, short rhythm. One other step I recommend that you add to this is switching your fingers on those 8th note rests, training yourself to look ahead to the next line. So E, G sharp, like that. Challenge yourself by not breathing on the rests. Just because they're there doesn't mean we need to always breathe on them. So at this stage, when we're very under tempo, at least try to get 4 measures at a time. You'll notice that as the passage gets more difficult, our rest also starts to compress, which creates a feeling of excitement. As you work on getting a faster and faster tempo, I would recommend that you strive to take a really big breath and measure 100. And as you're working your tempo up, if you take that one breath, you'll be able to make it through the rest of the phrase. So keeping that really long phrase will help you with your fingerings. Choosing the correct tempo is very important. You want to feel slightly uncomfortable, but not so uncomfortable that you will tense your fingers and your body and feel frantic. It has to be right on the line of manageable. So you do want to keep challenging yourself by going up maybe 2 or 3 numbers a day, but keeping it under control. After we've completed the Leggero, which will take at least a week of practice, we'll move back to the beginning of the Allegro, starting in measure 52. One tip that I have for getting off of our high G is a trick I learned from Keith Underwood. He recommended a thing he called yucky tonguing. And that would be starting the G, ta, ya, taka, taka, taka. So putting a Y vowel on the F sharp simulates the ku, tuku, tuku, tu. So having your tongue in that position primes you to be able to do a tu on the F natural. The other thing through this section, there are so many G's and they all need to match. At least they need to be really close. So putting your tuner on your stand can really help you checking your G's. We tend to sag, especially at the end of a phrase. We don't always listen all the way through, or when we're playing more quietly, we'll play lower, and when we play louder, we play more sharp. So keeping an eye out for those G's. The 2 sections are very distinct. We have the 8th note section, which begins the pickup to 61. And you want to be sure that you're matching the tempo. It can be hard to play that section without rushing. So you want to eventually sync up your sections with the metronome to make sure that you have a continuous tempo throughout and that you're not playing the quarter note melody faster than you're playing the 16th note passages. Coming up to that sforzando, we have a loud one. And what I practice is it's just doing some dynamic exercises by playing really loud notes and really soft notes. As you go to play the scale, be sure that you're not bringing your flute up at the end of the phrase. You'd be surprised how much it releases your body tension